I told you to go to the left only.
I am making this announcement in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, laws of the state of New Jersey. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting a copy of it on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, forwarding a copy to the local source, Star Ledger, and the Home News Tribune, and posting on the Borough website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting was contained on a list of meetings set by resolution on January 3rd, 2024, and as amended by Resolution 2024-99 dated March 6, 2024. Accordingly, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied in regard to this meeting. Please stand for the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Karlovich,
Here.
Councilman Boyle,
Here.
Councilman Finestrella,
Here.
Councilwoman Giordano Paterno,
Here.
Councilman Moore,
Here?
Councilman Scarice,
Here.
Councilman Zimmerman.
Here.
Hi, everyone. I just want to make an announcement. If anyone's going to speak, if you come to the microphone and speak clearly, and I don't want to say loud, but we're having some complaints that people with the audio, that they're not here, can't hear what everyone's saying in the meeting. Thank you. Is there a motion to accept and approve the following minutes of the council meeting of April 17, 2024?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Boyle,
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paterno,
Yes.
Councilman Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Scarice,
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay, I have two proclamations this evening. One is for Police Week 2024 and the Elks National Youth Week. To recognize National Police Week 2024 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Kenilworth Police Department. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 24,067 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and 282 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 118 officers killed in 2023 and 164 officers killed in previous years. Whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the virtual National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 36th Annual Candlelight Vigil. On the evening of May 13, 2024, the Candlelight Vigil is part of the National Police Week, which takes place this year on May 10th through the 16th. Whereas May 15th is designated as Police Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and the United States flag should be flown at half-staff. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Kenilworth formally designate May 10th through the 16th, 2024 as Police Week in the Borough of Kenilworth, and publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in the communities across the nation. In witness hereof, I, Mayor Linda Karlovich, have hereunto signed my name and officially caused the seal of the Borough of Kenilworth to be affixed this first day of May 2024. Give that to the chief. Thank you.
And I'd just like to say real quick that Mayor Karlovich, this Borough Council, I appreciate the proclamation, but you guys show us plenty of support all year round. We don't need Police Week to do it. This community, this administration constantly supports the police, but it is nice for you to recognize us, but we do appreciate even more the support we get all year round from you and from the members of our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next is the Elks National Youth Week. Whereas the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks has designated May 1st to the 7th as Youth Week to honor America's junior citizens for their accomplishments and to give fitting recognition of their services to community, state, and nation. And whereas the Union Elks Lodge 1583 will sponsor an observance during that week in tribute to the junior citizens of this community. And whereas no event could be more deserving of our support and participation than one dedicated to these young people who represent the nation's greatest resource, and who in the years ahead will assume the responsibility for the advancement of our free society. Whereas our youth need the guidance, inspiration, and encouragement which we alone can give in order to help develop those qualities of character essential for future leadership, and go forth to serve America. Whereas to achieve this worthy objective, we should demonstrate our partnership with youth, our understanding of their hopes and aspirations, and a sincere willingness to help prepare them in every way for the responsibilities and opportunities of citizenship. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Kenilworth do hereby proclaim that the first week in May as Youth Week, and urge all departments of government, civic, fraternal, and patriotic groups, and our citizens generally to participate wholeheartedly in this observance. In witness hereof, I, Mayor Linda Karlovich, have hereunto signed my name, officially causing the seal of the Borough of Kenilworth to be fixed the first day of May 2024. Is there anyone from the Elks here? Lisa? Can you give this to Lisa? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'd like to move on to the finance report. Councilman Finestrello.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to let everyone know that last Monday, the Finance Committee, consisting of Councilman Moore, Scarice, our Borough Clerk, Angela, and our CFOs, Jill and Ken, painstakingly sat down with a list of what each department requested that if they can have, and we painstakingly reviewed everything and decided on what was a necessity because of obviously our need of trying to keep budget tight as can be. As far as the public works, we had to get a new garbage truck, which was a top ticket item. The police, 2 new patrol cars, which they desperately need. The fire department, after many years of delaying the ladder truck, we decided that enough's enough. Stop putting a little bit away. Every year, the price of the truck would go up around $80,000. We're putting away $100,000, so really not making much headway. So we decided, let's go ahead and pursue getting the new ladder truck. The next item was improvements to Demaria Park, 16th Street, 9th Street, various road resurfacing, improvements to Bow Hole roof. All in all, we came down to an amount of $3.4 million for the capital. Of that, we came up with $484,000 in grants. So we're going to go out with a bond issue of $2.7 million. That's as far as we can go down to. Everything else, every department had their dire needs, and we just couldn't keep delaying it. So unfortunately, that's what it is, and Ken can attest to that. And we all decided that was the best for the town. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Department of Public Works, Councilman Boyle.
Thank you, Mayor. We have the bulk pickup dates. The north side is going to be September 30th, and the south side is going to be October 7th. They're going to start. The schedule of weekly pickups can be found on the borough website. The DPW recycling facility is now accepting recycling from commercial businesses. Commercial businesses can bring their recycling to the DPW yard at 401 Sheridan Ave. Items that businesses can bring are not limited to cardboard, bottles, cans, paper products, styrofoam, fluorescent bulbs, Please call the DPW office for clarification. And regarding the recycling, the DPW facility at 401 Sheridan Ave accepts residential deliveries of e-waste, TVs, electronics, scrap metal, styrofoam, shopping bags, cooking oil, and that's all I have.
Thank you. I wanted to make a suggestion, is could we ask residents to put lids on their recycling cans? Because if we get a windy day, recycling is blowing all over town. I know in some towns they require that. I don't know what everyone thinks about that, but I think it's worth having a conversation about, because there's litter all over.
They're normally overflowing.
Right, and then we get a windy day and they're out on Tuesday, they get picked up on Wednesday, and there's some streets that are lined up with recycling. I just think it's a way that some towns take care of the problem, is that you have to have a lid on your recycling can. So I don't know if we want to talk about that. Okay.
Well, they start off with a lid, but then something happens to them. I even remember my address on my lids are gone. They never stay on. I tied them physically to the can.
Yeah, I understand.
They're not there either.
Yeah,
We do.
You have to get the ones
My
that are
recycling
actually...
company won't take them wet, so they
won't take them wet.
Put a lid on,
Right.
just in case, so.
right. It just creates garbage all over.
I think some people aren't using cans, they're just in giant plastic bags too.
I'm not sure, but,
Yeah, my neighbor does.
okay, I just wanted to make that suggestion. Okay, Department of Public Safety, Councilman Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. For the month of April, the Kennewick Police Department answered 1,123 calls for service and 142 911 calls. There were a total of 104 hours of overtime for the month, which was scheduled patrol overtime, 38 hours, dispatch overtime, 58 hours, and USERT and SWAT training. The Kennewick Police Department conducted 260 hours of training, which included firearms training, USERT training, juvenile justice training, EVOC training, which is driver training, FTO training, field training officer training, and incident command training at the police academy. There were no sick days for the entire month of April, and no sick occurrences, and no on-the-job injuries for April. The Kennewick Police Department officers effected 15 arrests for the month of April for offenses including multiple shoplifters, several DWI offenses, controlled dangerous substance offenses, simple assaults and receiving stolen property, and eluding Kennewick Police Department. Kennewick Police Department responded to several reports of thefts from motor vehicles, but they were down substantially from the month of March into April. We also had multiple reports of package thefts from various areas of town, although no suspects have been identified as of yet. On April 9th, Chief Seuss, along with Captain Campanelli and Lieutenant Bryson, Scaniello, and Pastor, completed a tabletop training exercise at the John H. Stamler Police Academy, which was given by UASI, which is the Urban Area Security Initiative. In the exercise, the Kennewick Police Department was given a scenario which involved a large-scale mass casualty incident with multiple fatalities and an extensive, large-area crime scene with multiple active shooters. The object of the scenario was to see how the Kennewick Police Department's command staff would respond in a fluid, confusing scenario with multiple active shooters and a large-scale, multi-agency response, similar to an active shooter in a school. Chief Seuss said he is proud to say that the Kennewick Police Department passed with flying colors and received excellent grades for communication, preparation, and delegation of critical tasks. Chief Seuss also would like to commend Captain Campanelli, Lieutenants Bryson, Scaniello, and Pastor for their performance in this scenario, which was several hours long and very detail-oriented. The Kennewick Police Department leadership is certainly set up in a very capable hands and moving forward in the future. On Monday, May 13th at 6 p.m., the Kennewick Police Department will be having an unveiling of a Wall of Honor in the downstairs hallway leading to the Dispatch Center of Police Headquarters, which is going to be held to kick off Police Week. And the Kennewick Police Department will be adding the names and photos of the retired officers who have passed away in the last several years, which has not been kept up to date. The mayor and council have received invitations, and the general public is also welcome to attend the ceremony, which will be followed with light refreshments in the caucus room upstairs. That's going to be on May 13th, Monday at 6 p.m. Also, members of the public may have noticed that the Kenilworth Police Department officers have gotten a little scruffier recently, and it's not No Shave November or Double Down December, right, Chief?
Not to my knowledge.
In honor of Police Week, Chief Seuss has allowed Kenilworth Police Department officers to grow beards in order to raise money for the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. The Kenilworth Police Department and PBA and any officers growing beards will be donating money to the Tunnels to Tower Foundation, whose stated mission is to assist first responders, veterans, and their families by building homes for those who have lost loved ones. The Tunnels to Towers Foundation just recently completed a smart home for the family of New Jersey State Police Sergeant First Class Sean Aker, who was severely injured in an on-the-job injury in February of 2022, which nearly cost him his life and has left him permanently disabled. The smart home, which was built for Sergeant Aker, allows him and his family the freedom to function and interact with relative easiness. Any members of the public who would like to support Kenilworth Police Department and contribute to this wonderful charity are greatly appreciated, and donations can be dropped off at the dispatch center, Chief?
Yes.
Anytime, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and would be greatly appreciated. Also, on a final note, on June 1st at 7 a.m., which is the first Saturday in June, the Kenilworth PBA will be holding their annual fishing derby at Blackbrook Park here in Kenilworth. That's the cast-in time, so just get there earlier at 7 a.m. There's permission slips that'll be distributed in the schools, and I don't know if we have any at the dispatch. 8 a.m.? Okay, I was just corrected. It's 8 a.m. start time, 7...
But that was a little early.
Yeah, 7:30 show-up time. So 8 a.m. cast-in time. Just make sure you fill out a permission slip. They'll have some available that day, but it just makes it more smooth if they're filled out in advance. Also on June 3rd, that Monday after the fishing derby, the PBA will be holding their golf outing at the Brook Lake Country Club. I don't know if there's any availability at this point. It's full? It is full. So good luck with the golf outing and the fishing derby, and everyone's invited to attend the fishing derby on the 1st. It's usually a great time, and it's fun watching the kids and parents work together to fish and have, and there's always prizes the PBA offers too, so. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. I want to update to everyone on I did call the county about the fireworks, and they will allow us to use Blackbrook Park. And I met with Fire Chief Scuderi, and we walked the park and the layout, and we actually decided that it would actually probably work even better there, because there's a lot more room. And we're having conversation about having, perhaps, using the senior bus to possibly shuttle, the seniors and anyone that doesn't want to walk, like from the high school parking lot maybe down to Blackbrook, and they can set their chair up. But anyway, we're working on the details. I know we're out to bid for
We didn't go to bid, but we did get proposals, and actually I got 2 back just this week.
Okay, great. So it's just an update that
We don't know yet, 23rd or the 30th?
it's probably going to be the,
I did get an estimate back on both dates.
okay, so we'll get we'll still have to talk about and look at what the cost is involved. If we can save some money, we might do it obviously on the 23rd, and then we will have a bus for the seniors to get, and obviously that doesn't want to walk. I think we can have the senior bus driver just drive back and forth. It's only a couple blocks.
Just kids, we can't have in the bus.
We can't have kids on the bus?
Why?
That's the whole thing that came up with the rec, when we were going to use the bus for the rec.
Yeah, but if they're with their parents,
We'll have to check into that with the Jeff
Well, I
and
mean,
see
it's
if the
only 3
insurance.
blocks away. I mean, it's just for people that can't really walk, or it's far.
right.
So, I mean, it's only 3 blocks where it is
It came
now.
up when Zuckerman was going to buy us the bus for the rec.
Okay, all right, okay. We'll look into that, thank you. Okay, planning and zoning, Councilman Morrow.
All right, thank you. And to Officer Fushimo here, the derby that we're mentioning, a lot of your bidding is going into that, and thank you. Every year, it's a blast. So I'm sure it'll be this way, too. He scared me with 7 a.m. I'm glad you corrected him, because we're out there, and that's early.
That's okay. Showing up at 7 times.
All right,
If
so
you want a
thank
good
you.
spot, you better be there at 7 though.
So in regard to the planning board, I see our chairman here, thank you. Last week you gave, or last meeting, I should say, you gave an excellent overview of all the things that are going to be taking place and the special meeting that you were going to hold on Monday. It was held. Unfortunately, I was out of town that day, couldn't join. Read the minutes. It looked like it was a successful meeting. The board met. There was a lot of great advice given from the planner. It looks like the DMR report that the planning board was looking over was put together very nicely. Council, I believe, has a copy of it today. It was provided in your mailboxes if you didn't see it. As a result of the meeting, the board did pass the resolution determining that the property meets the criteria, this is the Onyx property, the former Merck property, meets the criteria for non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment, and recommended the council proceed and formulate a redevelopment plan for the site. So more to follow as we work through all of this. So thank you to the planning board. In other news about the planning board, we have a total of 8 projects that are coming into the board at various stages that are with our town professionals, the engineers and the planners and the building department themselves. The coming meetings, again, should be very busy as soon as we get these applicants to the board and out of the professionals' hands. So all these things are happening in due time. For zoning, we've had 22 zoning applications come in for the month of April. Many of them for fences, a few for new businesses, and a lot more for other various items. But that's a pretty active month, 22 zoning applications. A little light on complaints from the zoning complaints side. In April, we saw 3. We had an illegal dwelling. We had a couple of non-permits that we've noticed that folks had put fences up, retaining walls, and other outdoor decks. 2 of those complaints did lead to notices of violation. So those were issued, they're out there. On the code enforcement side, we also saw 3 complaints logged in for April. Property maintenance, and another one for flooding caused by a neighbor, and 1 notice of violation issued for a hazardous tree that needs to come down. I guess I'm going to pause for a second for the drama, because I have a public service announcement from the building department, so let me read it here. Spring is here, and we have entered the time for the exterior beautification of our homes and businesses. When in doubt about permits or processes, call the building department. We will do our best to answer your questions. In April, we saw a bunch of questions come in, so we're going to go through the most popular. Do I need a permit for fence replacement? The answer is yes. Even if it's a direct replacement, ordinances have changed, and we must meet the requirements of the current ordinances. Second most asked question, I'm redoing my driveway. Do I need a permit? If you're only resealing, recoating, and/or resurfacing, no, you do not need a permit. If you are ripping out and redoing the driveway, yes, you do need to file for a permit. The third most asked is, I want to build a deck or a fixed gazebo or pergola in my backyard. Do I need a permit? Yes, you must first file a zoning permit, and then you can file for construction permits. All of our permits are found on the borough website. So a lot of calls coming in. I think those are the top 3. Let's see what May brings, and thank you, everybody. That's my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Recreation and Fire, Councilman Scurries.
Thank you, Mayor. Fire Department would like to remind everyone that our annual carnival will be on August 12th through the 17th at David Braley, like last year. Recreation, middle school track and field is doing great. The next meet is May 3rd in Linden. Our middle school baseball season is halfway through, and the record currently is 2-4. They're currently playing Garwood right now as we speak. Summer camp registrations are now open to the general public. You can register through Community Pass. Currently, there's 165 kids registered. That's all I have for those reports. I have a question. We're not looking into the towns that may be shooting fireworks over their turf fields, or is it we're going back Blackbrook, or we're not even involved? I know there was a lot of...
There was also conversation about the high school having solar panels on the roof, which is, the fire department used to hose the roof down. We just, obviously, we can still talk about it. I think, though, that ultimately, it's going to be a lot better at Blackbrook. There's just a lot more space there, and I think the whole venue will be better. The school's under construction, and what if something happens to the turf field? I don't know if it will or it won't, but when we did walk the park, it really can, the event could be really nice there. There's a lot of space for spectators, for vendors, and it's in our community, and I kind of like the idea of our residents using that park, too. I know it's county property, but it's in our town. Right now, the school is a bit of a mess over there, so, and again, going with the fire, that's an issue, too. Fire chief was telling me they used to go on the roof after the fireworks and check, and they really can't check the way they used to because of these solar panels. So,
We never thought about the solar panels, we just thought about the field.
right.
Yeah, the solar
So-
panels is another.
And, listen, the school, they also asked if maybe we could move it over a little bit, but there really isn't the room there to do that. So, I thought, let's try it. Let's try it 1 year at Blackbrook and see how it goes. And, I know people resist change, but sometimes that change turns out to be really good. And if it isn't, then we can revisit it with the school next year. And they'll be further along in their construction. And, but it's a nice, there's a lot of space there for people to really enjoy themselves up in the parking lot.
16th Street could be an annex to that big soccer field there. Would you be able to see the fireworks from that park if it's going off in Blackbrook? Not too far.
Too many
It depends
houses.
how high they're going up.
Yeah, they go pretty high, right?
But it depends on, like, the air.
Yeah, you gotta go,
Yeah.
you're kind of low there.
Right.
If it's very humid, they might go up less than.
You might see them, but,
Where would they have to shoot? Are you going to shoot over the lake or more dead center of the field?
Yeah, so we looked at, by the corner of the pond closest to like the water tower. And that really gives you from third baseline at the baseball field out almost 200 feet. And then that whole area. And then we didn't measure over by the softball field.
that's another area,
You
though.
have some area over there too.
And the parking lot.
So, I mean, we just did quick numbers, until we spoke to get the firework company, we don't know how big of a laydown area they actually need. So we assumed 80 feet off of the pond, which I don't think they need close to that, but we weren't sure. So we left everything exaggerated until we find out, get a vendor and find out exactly how much room they need.
Right.
We can set our parameters off that.
You think parking on Sheridan should be limited to maybe one
Well,
side?
we talked about that we would close that street to parking, yeah. And parking, I'm hoping that a lot of people will park at the high school, and we can shuttle people, or they can walk from there. And I think a lot of people on the north side of the town will walk anyway,
Yeah, but even in the industrial area, by White Machine over there, if we have an officer crossing people on Springfield Road, where the right past the S
Right,
curve.
correct.
There's all that industrial area with those, there's a lot of parking back there.
Correct, that's a good point,
And it'll be
John.
empty that night.
Yep, that's a good point. So I think that there's some logistics to work out, but I think it could turn out to be a really nice event.
I like it, I think I like it better.
And, I think I really do.
It could be.
So, yeah.
We do have our vendors, definitely, that
There's-
the school would put stipulations on a lot of things, too.
Yep.
Silly string.
No, that's,
Wow.
we do have two senior
Okay.
buses. The one don't have rear AC, but
That's okay, it's a quick
shuttle,
ride.
That's what I'm saying, to shuttle, you're gonna have two buses running.
Mm-hmm. Right.
To really move a lot of people.
Right. And I think my biggest concern is to get people with disabilities or the seniors or, the ability to not have to worry about getting there. They can drop them off in the parking lot, they can put their seat down in the viewing area, their chair, and they'll get picked back up and drop back off.
We should reserve that off, right? Because they can't walk down the steps there or go down the hills.
We're gonna put the viewing area up in that parking lot as well, along with vendors, and so we can definitely put an area for people to, and that's a good point. seniors going down the stairs, and it'll be dark. And we'll talk to the chief about lighting up those stairs, actually, as a matter of fact. That's a good suggestion. I'm glad you brought that up.
Porta potties too, right?
Yep, quarter potty.
There is a porta potty there now,
Parkman will give us one.
for the county, but we'll definitely need more than that. I don't know how often
Yeah,
that gets
14th Street
cleaned.
side and.
Right, like one on, right,
Wagner and them about the parking lots for people parking.
right, they have parking there too. Yeah, and people can also view from that area as well. There's picnic tables over there. Like I
Actually, right off the
said,
parking lot at the top is a great viewing area because everything's below it.
Right,
the pit.
correct.
So you have a great view
Right.
for seniors.
It'll be very nice.
For that reason, save the lot.
so listen, we can have conversation. Maybe the seniors should view there. Maybe that's where we'll,
Make that a viewing
make
area.
that the ideal, but, yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of options, and I think it's worth trying.
Now, is the high school going to let us park there? You say we can park there?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure.
Yeah,
they
sure.
will.
I guess we have to clear it
We'll
out.
talk to them, of course, but I'm sure that they won't have a problem with that.
A different topic, Councilman Scurry. You mentioned the carnival. I might have missed it. It's still going to be at the high school? Or
Yes,
still be permanently? Yeah.
Yeah, same as last
I
year.
think I signed a 10-year contract or something. Oh, like it.
All right, great.
That's all I have, Mayor. for-
Thank you, Councilman. Education, Health, and Human Services, Councilwoman Giordano Pissarro.
Thank you, Mayor. Monday night, the Board of Ed met to finalize their budget, and of course, taking into account the $1.4 million state aid reduction. So any new hires or ancillary projects that they were thinking of have been halted. However, they are working with Trenton to hopefully get back 60 to 70% of that, and that would be really helpful, anywhere from $800,000 to $1 million. So as they move forward with that and I get information, I'll make sure I share it with everyone.
I can update that.
Yeah. The seniors had their first of the 6 WISE sessions last week, and it was well-attended. WISE is the Wellness Initiative for Senior Education, and I believe 30 seniors attended. Shirley was nice enough to share pictures of that and the craft fair and the 100th birthday celebration, and so much going on at the senior center. So I encourage everybody to get involved, call the senior center, get more information, or you could go on the Borough website. Everything is clearly listed, but do not forget the grand reopening on May 19th during our street fair. The Board of Health had their first reading of their ordinance to increase the fees, and they will have their second and final reading on May 16th. They are also working closely with the building department on a couple of issues that have been raised with properties in town, just a few that need some cleanup. So they are working closely with the officials in the building department and the homeowners of those properties to get them brought up to stuff. And the library has their typical assorted children's programs quite a bit, although there is a special one this Friday at 3:30. They're doing a special craft for Mother's Day. And there's also a special workshop for adults on Saturday, May 18th, called Learn to Sew. Both of them you need to register for, so please call the library to get the particulars, and that number is 908-276-2451. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And you reminded me, I did reach out to Senator Cryan, and there is a bill that's being moved forward on May 13th to hopefully get our state aid back for the school. Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. Borough Engineer, Mr. Gallarano.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one thing to report, just an update on Bay Board. We're finishing up the curb, and then they'll be doing paving, and then it should pretty much wrap it up. So maybe another week or so, it should be done out there. All the drainage is in, all those water issues that are going on out there, all been resolved already. Some pumps are now going into the storm sewer, there's no water running down the street. The end of the road that was always being flooded, there's 2 catch basins in already, so everything's looking pretty good so far.
Okay,
That's it. That's all I have.
thank you.
Tony, last meeting, we were, please have a seat. Last meeting, we were talking about the construction that, we hired a contractor to do some construction on Wilshire, and they've dropped off equipment. Has all that work started?
No, good question. They dropped off a bunch of material, it actually is in the DPW yard. They were short a couple pieces of pipe, that's why they didn't start, like a back order. They're hoping to get that in the next couple of days. They're committed, if they get the pipe this week, to start next week.
Okay.
So like, I got like 98% of the materials, they just were missing pieces, just the supplier ran short, a little bit of a backlog.
All right.
So they're ready to go, they just need to get that, they get it this week, which they're hoping they'll start that next week.
Okay, great. Tell them, we keep asking about it, we're anxious.
Yeah, I know, it's overdue, I mean, they have to get some delays, but they're ready to go.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Borough CFO, Mr. Blum.
Councilman Finestrello summed up the capital project, so that's all that's really going on right now. And taxes are due.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Borough Attorney.
There's no executive session this evening for any issue that I require. There is one ordinance that's up for introduction regarding limousines, and that's to make sure that our code is compliant with and consistent with the state law. And the administrator brought that to our attention, and we brought it up to speed.
Great, thank you. Okay, Borough Administrator.
Just one thing to remind everybody, I know I mentioned it last week, that the borough is getting a new notification system, their reverse 911. It's moving along, so be on the lookout for information on that. So it'll probably be another week or two till we do the rollout. It will be publicized on the website, we'll have flyers, there'll be a QR code, book on the signs outside, we'll kind of publicize it. So just a reminder to people that it's a new system, none of the public's information will be transferred. It wasn't possible, we did look into that, so people will have to register again. So if anyone asks when they see it, just, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to accept and approve borough reports?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have one ordinance for final adoption tonight. It's ordinance 2024-07, introduced on April 17th of 2024. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2024-02, affecting employment titles, salary ranges, and personnel policies for borough employees of the Borough of Kenilworth.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2024-07?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone have anything to say on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Please come forward and state your name and address. Okay, seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 2024-07?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Picerno?
Yes.
Councilman Moro?
Yes.
Councilman Scarice?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-07 has been adopted.
Next for council consideration is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
The consent agenda consists of resolutions 2024-122 through 2024-123. These resolutions will be approved by one motion. All items will be recorded individually and pulled in the minutes. Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Picerno?
Yes.
Councilman Moro?
Yes.
Councilman Scarice?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
We have two ordinances tonight for introduction. Ordinance 2024-08, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new information technology equipment, and a new fire apparatus, partial funding. and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment, in, by, and for the Borough of Kenilworth in the County of Union, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $3,405,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate various grants, to make a down payment or partially fund appropriations from the Capital Improvement Fund, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2024-08 for introduction?
Motion. Second?
Roll call?
Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Pasterno?
Yes.
Councilman Morrow?
Yes.
Councilman Scarice?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2024-08, theretofore introduced, does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on May 15, 2024 at 6:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the Borough Council, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law. Ordinance 2024-09, ordinance enacting Chapter 177 limousines and amending Chapter 91 fees and licenses of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Kenilworth to regulate the operation of limousines throughout the borough.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2024-09 for introduction?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Pasterno?
Yes.
Councilman Morrow?
Yes.
Councilman Scarice?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2024-09, heretofore introduced, does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on May 15, 2024 at 6:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the Borough Council, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law.
Is there a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone have anything to say for the good and well-being of Kenilworth? Please come forward and state your name and address.
Hello.
Hello.
Gail Snyder, 27 South Michigan Avenue. I have two things. Thank you for making the announcement about the microphone. I tried to listen to last meeting and had trouble hearing people that are in the audience talking as you're going back and forth. Is it possible to maybe have a microphone?
Everyone should be coming to the microphone.
You know, or
when they want to
coming
speak.
up, and so that everybody
Right.
can hear it.
Of course.
Because you can't hear it on the audio.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We'll make
Okay.
sure that everyone is heard.
Yeah, it'd be very helpful to
Of
hear.
course, absolutely.
Like this, I'm trying to hear it on my computer as loud as it would go, and I still couldn't get all the words in.
Thank you.
The other thing is, I live on South Michigan Avenue. I wanted to know if there is a possibility for the Dunkin' Donuts delivery truck guy that is blocking the roadway several mornings at about 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, making deliveries off of South Michigan Avenue. The traffic there is horrendous to begin with, because you have people going to all directions, and even trying to get into Dunkin' Donuts, you can't see because the truck is there.
I'm aware that this has been going on. I know I spoke to the chief a couple times about it, and
We've spoken to the owner a few times about it. If it's still going on, we need to know when it happens.
Yes, it happened today. Again.
Call the desk today, and we'll have the guy deal with it. We've spoken to...
when you see it, if
Yeah, when
you
you
call
see it,
the doc,
report it.
report it. So
Yeah,
our,
we need to know when it happens. 'cause
It
we
was
have
a couple
spoken
of
to him.
times last
The
week.
delivery guy knows that he's not supposed to park there, So if it's still going on, we need to know exactly when it happens, not after.
Okay, because in the past, they used to pull into the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, or they have that other portion
Right.
there that they could pull into and not block up the street.
Oh, I agree, they
Go
shouldn't
all
be.
the way down to the
Right.
bar.
Work out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've spoken to them about
That's
that.
horrendous.
That's the agreement we have with his distributor, and if they're not doing that, then we need to know exactly when it
Okay.
happens.
Yeah, they can
I mean,
address
serious,
it.
just call, just call
Out in the
down.
driveways, because,
Right, sure.
people don't want to let you in, and...
Sure.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and call, when you see it, call headquarters.
276-1700. Call
Okay.
that number, we'll address it when it happens.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Joey Grimaldi, 34 North 14th Street. We're on, what is it, I think the corner of 19th Street. It used to be that Santander Bank. Now it's just an empty building. Supposedly, there was gonna be a funeral home put in there, but then there's a sign on the door saying, everything has to be stopped, any construction, and, for further notice from the town or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know the building?
Know the property.
What happened? I mean, is there anything wrong with having a funeral home on the boulevard? Or, I mean, it's kind of silly to have a building just sit there and not go forward. If the funeral home can't be put there, then, get someone else to do something with the building so that it's not just an empty building. And the other thing is, on the other end of the corner, that big house with the big property, that big house, it's a mess. I don't know who lives there, and, I don't know if they can't fix up the building properly, but it's an eyesore, and I don't want to be critical that, they can't keep it up, but we have to have some kind of standards in town of, beautification, at least. I mean, I'm no building guy or construction guy. That's my two brothers. They know more about houses and stuff than I do. But there's some boards missing, some broken up windows. It at least needs a new paint job, and it's the one right across from Harding School where the
I think that's a rental property.
Huh?
That's a rental property.
Our code enforcement has recently been
I know.
alerted to that, as well as been alerted to it a number of times, and it has gone out there, and some of the complaints that are made for things like or steps not being cemented properly, they get fixed, and then they move on, and there's a lot, as you're noting, there's a lot of maintenance issues at that property just from looking at it. But it is subject to a lot of property maintenance complaints, if you will.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, if even the rental people that they're living in there, if they get hurt because of the shabby condition of the building, then what do? Oh, Kenworth, let's sue them.
If it's privately owned, they can't come back to the borough.
Well, all right,
It's not
you sue
owned
the
by the
landlord.
borough. Yeah, it's not owned by the borough.
But I walk around town, and now it's coming to the summer, I'll be bicycling, but, I see these things, and I don't know, it should be shaped up. I don't know what the laws are or anything, but it's an eyesore, and
That's it.
Mr. Grimaldi, I'll
Thank you.
reinforce to the code enforcement area the view of that coming from you at the meeting publicly, so I'll let you know, I'll do that at least. And as far as them going out there, they have gone out there, they do go out there, they then comply with what they went out there for, and then we're back for the next one. So it might take a little time, and I thank you for coming up and talking about it.
Yeah, so they have this thing, they fix it, but then there's still three, four other
Yep.
things, and it's kind of like a
It perpetuates
leapfrog.
it, and it goes on for a very long time. But I understand, I drop my kids off from school there a few days a week, I see it with my own eyes, it doesn't look great.
No, it doesn't. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not only that, the house on Cross Street, I think it's the same landlord, my understanding,
Yep.
and it's falling apart. I would wonder also, I meant to mention to the Board of Health, maybe there's something there. It's gotta be mold in the house, you got visible holes in the roof.
Yep. I've had sent the Board of Health over there and code enforcement in years past as well for the holes in the roof. Okay, anyone else from the public? You can come back up and come back up.
Okay. Are you talking about the one, David Brewery on the
Yeah, green-
back
where greenhouse
side?
was.
Yeah, well, that's another mess
That's
too.
what I was mentioning, that's,
Yeah.
is it, Mark, are we allowed to talk about the bank thing? Because what is going on with that? And if the borough loses, we're gonna be paying a huge bill, another budgeted.
There's a zone change, and there's possibly a pending land use application. I don't think it's,
It's kind of caught up in, it's in court, right, it's litigated. Right now, we're fighting in court over it.
no, the litigation was resolved.
Oh,
A zone change went in, and I believe that an application was filed before the land use board, or is in progress. But I don't think that,
so it's all over? There's no funeral home going? It's resolved, the case is over?
the litigation over challenging a zoning ordinance is over.
Okay.
What takes place with respect to them making an application, which they're required to do, is before the land use board. Whether it's currently pending before them or not, that's where the jurisdiction lies, and I don't think that we should be commenting on that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
I could tell you that a zoning ordinance that changed permitted uses in the area was duly adopted. And my recollection is that zoning ordinance prohibited funeral parlors and I believe houses of worship on the boulevard. So that doesn't mean they can't go there. It means that they have to secure a variance to go there. So that is before the land use board. I don't think that we ought to comment on that. That's their jurisdiction. When the application, if it does go before them, they have certain criteria upon which to base their decision, and they're autonomous.
Councilman Scurries, one of the 8 applications, or the 8
You know
applications I was
what,
talking about.
with all respect, can we do the public portion of the meeting and then?
Well, this is actually in response to Mr. Grimaldi's question.
I know, but we're sort of going into a whole conversation. I just want to give if anyone else, and then we can have this conversation. If anyone else would like to speak from the public. And then we'll circle back to this. I saw you sitting there waiting to get up. Hi, John.
26 North 7th Street, Kenilworth, New Jersey. Good evening, Mayor Karlovic and council people, attorney.
Good evening.
My subject tonight is our friend Seuss. We're going to lose him. He's retiring, and I've known him for many, many years. In fact, I've known his mother and father for 60 years.
That's a long time.
They've been in town a long time.
I've known him for a long time too, but I think you beat me.
For 60 years.
And they're still active in town.
I know.
And they come to the senior meetings. Another thing I wanted to bring up was, have we chosen a new chief to replace Fred?
No, we haven't.
Chief Seuss, okay. Will that be done, or will we be without a chief for a while? Will it, before he retires?
We have
will there
to, an
somebody
interview
named?
process that.
Yeah, there's an ordinance that deals with that, and we're going through the ordinance steps right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Another question, another thing I wanted to bring up was June 4th is a big election day, primaries in Kenilworth, and as far as I know, absentee ballots have been mailed. People are casting their ballots, the absentee ones, and the thing I'd like to bring up was that our town council, some great people here, some wonderful things have happened. We saved our 9/11 dispatch. We saved our rescue squad. We have people in town that work for the borough from start, when they first join as in working for the borough, they end up working for the borough. They start and they retire as borough employees. And we have all good things to say about the people in Kenilworth. And I'd like to say one thing to all the council people here tonight, is that they're doing a great job, and I'd like to see everybody move forward. And the town can only move forward with good people that really care. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
Carolyn Pappas, 31 North 23rd
Hi, Carol.
Last Sunday was pretty good weather, right? I like to go to Mohegan and, run and work out. So I decided I would run to Mohegan instead of driving. I like where I was parked, but I didn't want to move my car. At any rate, at some point, I don't know how it happened, but I dropped this has my wallet in it, my license and stuff. I didn't even know it, and I want to know. Somebody found it and brought it to my addresses, and they brought it to my apartment. Right? I wasn't home yet, but the person who did find it noticed that the guy across the street from me, whom I don't know that well, but he's always out fixing his lawn and stuff, the person went to him and said, this was lost by the lady who lives across the street. He wrote a note and put it on my door. He didn't feel comfortable keeping it with himself, and waiting to see what. He put a note on my door telling me what happened, that he had taken it to the police station. So I went, took the note, went to the police station.
That's great.
And to me, this is like, our motto is, small town with a big heart.
That's right.
And this,
Very nice.
This proved it to me.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that
I
story.
grew up here, but I didn't live here all the time. But 25 years ago, I moved back, and I didn't stay.
Good. We're glad you're here, too. And I'm going to listen to these CDs, Mr. Carol. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, I'd like to close the public portion of the meeting.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, if we wanted to continue that conversation.
No, there's really not much left, just that the applications that cycle through the professionals back and forth, it's not instant, right? So I think that, what Mark was saying, will wind up showing up to the board. It's one of the ones cycling through. So I can't tell you how far the back and forth will still go, but there's some back and forth going on. So that's all.
Thank you, Councilman.
One more thing, Make St. Anthony there, that one fence is totally dilapidated, falling into adjoining property.
In the parking lot of the bank?
Fenced property.
Okay.
So I was telling, well, I don't know, it's tied up. But,
Which property are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Santander Bank,
Okay.
they're maintaining the one side of the fence, in between the dilapidated house on the corner of 18th Street.
So the fence is falling in, you're saying?
Yeah, there's bushes, but there's a fence behind it, it's
Okay.
fallen. It's
Sounds
so
good.
rotted, it's fallen into the other yard.
Go right around the corner of 18th and check on that, all in one shot. Sounds good.
There you go.
Great. Okay, does anyone have anything else to add or say? Is it all good and welfare of the borough?
I'd like to make a note to remind everyone that before our next council meeting, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, May 12th, is Mother's Day. I'd like to wish all you mothers out there happy Mother's Day. And hopefully the weather's nice.
Those up here too, right?
Yeah, all the mothers.
Thank you. All the mothers. I'd like to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day as well.
Yes,
Including
happy and
myself.
healthy Mother's Day to everyone. And I'd also like to say,
Giordano Pizzerno, and our Borough Clerk Administrator.
absolutely, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
John.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, too. And I'm also just looking forward to, prior to Mother's Day, is the Cinco de Mayo coming up on the 5th of May, since we're already into the 1st of May. And that'll be before our next meeting, too. So anyone that celebrates Cinco de Mayo, I wish you the best and a happy
I think,
Cinco de Mayo.
doesn't everyone celebrate Cinco de
A lot of people do. I like celebrating Cinco de Mayo, too. So it's
Margaritas across the board?
Amen, I'm with you.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.